feel like I'm in a filler arc right now. I've been saying this every time I talk about what I don't like about the process of dieting down for me is, it's, I like being lean. When I see myself pumped and fucking actually veiny, that's pretty nuts. But it just doesn't do it for me the same as just being fully bulked up. I'm starting to feel, it feels a little strange. It feels a little bit unnatural for me to be below that 250-pound mark. This morning I was 242, so 240 is actually looking like kind of a hard bar for me to get below. Not that I'm like itching to get lighter than I am now, but I've kind of been floating right around that upper, or those lower 240s for like the last like 2 weeks. So calorie wise, I'm definitely not going to drop it any more than, the 2,800, 2,750 that I'm floating at. Going anywhere lower than that, it's just not necessary for me because I'm not trying to get to a crazy amount of leanness. The whole point of what I'm doing is just kind of to reset my appetite so that when I bulk up in, month and a half ish, I'm actually in a prime, let's just say more of a primed position to chow down on some food and gain some weight. But 240 is still pretty heavy. But I can't seem to lose my enthusiasm for starting to get some food down and get the weight up, both body weight and gym weight. Not that it matters, the numbers are just numbers. It's all about having a really good workout. But it is cool when you're fucking extra big and pumped and strong. It's just kind of a fucking nice feeling, man. You're literally buffed. When it comes to the actual gym performance, I'm kind of nerfed right now, in the sense that I actually end up spending less time in the gym because it takes less work to, pretty much get everything out in each lift that I can. Because when I'm dieted down, or when I'm bulked up, I was saying this in the car on the way home from the gym yesterday. Whether I'm bulked or cut, my approach to the workout, in a basic sense, is the same. Do as many hard sets as necessary, be them really heavy or lighter squeezing, to be fully pumped and fatigued to the point where I feel like, all right, this is a good workout. I can go home, I can recover, get ready to do cardio in the morning, and then do it again. Now, bulked up, that takes a bit longer. It takes more work. I can sit here and do, more like 10, sometimes even 11 sets for chest in one workout, and I can still feel like each set is making me more and more pumped, and I've got more and more juice to really squeeze out. Whereas today, I'm sure this workout's going to be in the 6 or 7 set range. I'm not totally sure, we'll have to find out. But for the most part, when I'm dieted down, I'm at that level of fully fatigued and pumped state by like, set 6-ish. Whereas when I'm fully bulked, it's a little bit more like 9, sometimes 8 or 9. But even then, a 2-set difference when you're only doing those 6 to 8, that's a considerable amount, So for me, I think the fact that I just like the workouts themselves and being in the gym and pushing it, it's almost like I'm not getting enough fucking satisfaction because there's just not as much work to be done. At least not necessary. Or no. There's not as much necessary work to be done. I could try to do fucking 15 sets of chest. It wouldn't do me any good. By the time I hit it hard enough that my fucking boobs are poking out of my shirt like I've got a pair of double D's, there's no need to do it anymore. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. That's my little take. So, if I condense that down to one sentence, I can't wait to start bulking. But I can wait. I've got patience. So give it another month and a half, and then the floodgates will gradually open. They will not open immediately as hard as possible, because I've done that before, where I've tried to bulk up by immediately jumping to like 5,000 calories per day. And for the first like 3 months, shit, man, progress is looking sweet. Big, strong, full, growing. This is the fucking growth pattern. But then, for me to bump that 5,000 up to 6, it just doesn't happen. I can't maintain it. So this last bulk worked a bit better for me. New peak weight 260 from easing into the calories. Month after month, increasing by about 500 ish. So at the end of the last bulk, I was rocking around 5,000 ish calories, which is as much food as I was eating on my other bulks, but I was still heavier. So I'm almost making more use out of less in a sense. Because right now, I'm in a dieted state, so my baseline metabolism is lower. That's what happens when you eat in a deficit. Your body gradually gets more used to eating less and less food. So if you want to keep getting lean, and if this is you, if you've been dieting for a while, it kind of sucks, but as you diet more and more, you actually have to eat less and less. Because when you become a lighter body weight, your body needs less energy to run. So if you want to keep getting leaner, you have to keep feeding less. So kind of just an unfortunate state of affairs. If you're already down 50 pounds in your fat loss journey, which incredibly badass if that's you. I hear all those stories when guys show me the before and after picture. Unrecognizable. Fucking insane. But, if there's still another 20 pounds to go that you want to lose, even though it will get easier because you're used to doing it, it does get harder because you have to continually drop calories. But same approach with the bulk. So if right now my body's used to 2,700, if I immediately double that almost to 5,000, I'm probably not going to make use out of that whole 5,000. I'll make use out of maybe 3,800, maybe 4,000. Even then, that's probably pushing it as an immediate jump. But that extra 1,000, unnecessary calorie intake. So that's what would happen if someone were to, let's say, be bulking too hard. I know it's kind of a rare situation. Nobody ever complains that they gain body fat too easily on a bulk. Usually the number one gripe I hear is that I can't eat enough food to grow. But hypothetically, there is a limit to the amount of food that you can eat and have it actually be used reasonably effectively. If you're bulking, there is no question you're going to gain a little bit of body fat. It's just the nature of the beast. But there's no need to put on so much more than you actually need to. Somebody who bulks up and gets to 30% body fat versus someone who bulked up and got to 20% body fat, in terms of the amount of muscle that they're going to gain, it's probably kind of similar. So when I say bulk, I do not mean, get fat as fuck, of course. You've got to bulk to a state of, as big as you can get with reasonable body fat gain. So if you're packing on pounds of body fat week after week, sure, the scale's going up, but that's not lean tissue, So when I talk about weight, and I'm like, oh, I'm 260, brother. Like, that's cool, but only about 5 or maybe a little more than 7-ish pounds of that actually matters each time. And the rest is just fluff and water and fats and glycogen. But enough of that. No point thinking about fucking a month and a half down the line. Let's just focus on the chest day that I've got in store in just a few minutes. Incline dumbbell machine incline press, I think. Cable flies guaranteed. Maybe some pec deck. But that's still up in the air. I got to see how everything feels once I start warming up. The only thing I can guarantee is that my chest is going to be PUMPED FOOL. Let's get in there. Yeah. 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 Oh my God. One more. No, 150's too heavy today, God damn it. Yeah. 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 Okay. Let's move on. Oh. Thank you, Jorge Rivera. Monster motivated that set. This is more of a flat press, which kind of goes against my usual zeal. I think you should bias a lot of incline, but I like this machine. Plus, not gonna fucking hurt you either. But I think most people usually need a little extra incline work. But either way, let's go fucking nuts. Okay. Let's lose the 25. One more. Let's make a drop set. Fuck. Okay. I think it's time for some cable flies, goddammit. That's a good set. Throw in a little tempo reps at the end as well. All right, time for some heavy, straight up flies. Nothing special, I'm just gonna try to go nuts. I'll get a little more fancy with the reps on the next few sets. Okay. Might have been a little too heavy. Let's get ready for the next set though. A little lighter. All right, a little lighter, and these flies will not be front of body, standing up, mildly bent over, and then kind of aiming for, maybe foot in front of groin type region. Now, one thing that I like about these flies instead of these ones is it's pretty much all fucking chest. I can't help but get some front delt when I do them up here, but down here, nothing but pec. So let's get one of these done. Probably one more. We'll see. Yeah. Video drops. Yeah. Yeah. One more. I'm thinking take a few steps forward, cable press, then once I'm pretty much at failure, drop the weight, bent over flies, and pecs will be pumped to shit. Not that they aren't already, but, even more. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Let's go pose down. Chest done. All right, it's been only moments since that last set. Don't worry. I'm not gonna die. Just fucking out of breath. But this is a really good chest day, especially for dieting down. And part of it is because I had, well, let me just check my phone. I tracked this shit. Why not actually look at the numbers? So far, I've consumed 150 grams of carbs. It's actually not that much. I really think the quality of today's workout was more so on the mental side, and the fact that I was just fucking going crazy on some of those sets. Actually, most of them. So, what's underneath this shirt? You tell me. Is it a disgusting, gut-wrenching chest pump? I would hope it is. God damn it. Oh, I need to start bringing alternate fucking shirts to change into after I pose down. It really sucks putting a sweaty shirt back on because it's fucking wet and cold. But, oh my gosh. All right, let's run through a few. Actually, wait. There we go. Get some APS-C crop, if you know what I'm talking about. But not even doing a fucking flex, just standing here natural, and you're doing little abs, dude. This is a very good chest day. do a little more traditional side chest. The freak factor is finally coming into play. You know, you got to remember, as you get leaner and leaner, even though you get smaller, once you reach a point of leanness where you're actually getting more and more muscularly defined, even though you're shrinking, you start looking fucking crazier. So I think that's where we are now. Let's see what else is there. Oh. Do I think, and I'm being 100% fucking real with you right now, do I think I would have had a chest day that was as good as this one if on those sets of dumbbell bench I only did the hundreds and did a really controlled set of 10 or a really controlled set of 20, or if on that chest press I only did 2 plates instead of 3.5 and did a real controlled set? Look, I think there's space for those kind of sets. I was doing some reps like that at the end on those decline flies, but there's no substitute for a fucking heavy and hard set. I can guarantee it. So let's, oh my goodness, I just can't help but pose anymore. Or I can't help but keep posing, I mean. Oof. Okay, one more. Little front double bi with the chest bump. Oh, goodness. All right, if I keep flexing like this, I'm gonna be here forever. Let's go do some calves. Oh my god, this is a good day. Okay, so all I did was sit on the fucking calf raise machine. So let's just get some close-up action. I did like 8 sets. They weren't like absolutely brutal like the chest sets were. I was really just trying to get a calf pump. But let's see. Here's how we're looking from the front. That's not too crazy. Or not too bad, I mean. There's some fucking separation already. Not even fucking really flexing them. So how are they looking from behind? See a little double flex. Oh yeah, dude. Left one especially. Right one as well. That's a calf. So let's get in the car right after I loiter a little longer. All right, so I cannot, and I mean this, I absolutely cannot think of any other reason as to why that was a good workout. Actually, what the fuck? I totally just lost my train of thought. Whatever. What I was about to say was, that was an extremely good chest day. Not because of the specific exercises that I chose, or the specific rep schemes that I did, or because I had like a, perfectly timed rest periods. None of that is what made that a good lift. It was the fucking effort that I put into each set that made it a really good fucking workout. To the point where the level that I pushed it today, it's making me feel like my last couple of lifts have been like fucking, like nothing. That's kind of how, that's how some of your workouts should be, man. If one day you're extra amped, you're listening to perfect music, you're just in the zone, you know what you want, you know what you got to do to get it, and you really fucking kill it, that should be a wake-up call that awesome lift that you just had, you want to be at that level as much as you possibly can. I've had these realizations a lot, especially earlier in my lifting, where, it's been about a year, or no, actually probably even less than that, like Well, we can just start from the beginning. So when I started working out, on my own, not like sports-based training or conditioning and stuff. I'm talking Sam doing his workouts on his own. No other agenda apart from getting huge. The beginning was just, I took the 30-pound dumbbells from the basement. Just not really a workout area. We just had them. Take the 30s into the bedroom, sit there playing Fortnite in high school, and fucking, every time you lose, or not even every, it wasn't even so planned as that. It was just every so often pick them up, curl them. I didn't even think I was really taking those sets to failure either. I was just kind of doing it a little. And then I'm like, all right, I kind of like this. I cleaned out this section of the basement that was just kind of full of shit. It was like an old office space. Turned that into a little bit of the home gym. The early stages of that were just a flat bench, rack. Actually, not even a rack. It was weight stands. So a rack is kind of nice and safe and solid and sturdy. Weight stands are just two, you know, pieces of metal on these little platforms, which you rack the weight on. Not something I'd necessarily recommend. I mean, if you're definitely going to want to get a rack, and then gradually put some pulleys on there, whatever else over time. But what I'm trying to say is every few months, I would, once I actually got into it and I was really doing my normal workout, I'm doing a full split or I'm hitting every body part twice a week, whatever. Every couple of months, you need to kind of have this realization where it's like, fuck, dude, I got to step up my game. I got to step it up, man. This isn't going to work anymore. And it doesn't, what's kind of crazy is it can come in all sorts of different ways. You can get kind of fired up from having a really crazy workout and that you want to have that same feeling and be able to have done that well every fucking time, like today. Or maybe you have a really shit workout and you're like, I never want this to fucking happen again. I don't, I gotta be a little bit better about my sleep and my fucking meal timing and my sort of pre-lift preparation. I can't keep working out like this. Or, I mean, maybe you run into a freak. Some big ass dude shows up at your gym, or you go to a new gym when you're traveling or going on vacation or something, and you see someone else who is pushing it multiple levels harder than you ever have, right? And you kind of, in a way, you kind of get shown up by seeing that. I've seen that a couple of times, so I'm like, man, I gotta fucking look at that guy. Holy shit, I gotta get up there. But what I'm getting at is, as your training progresses, you need to, kind of toughen up and be able to push yourself harder and harder and harder, because that's just the nature of muscle growth, gym progression. Is newbie gains are real. In the beginning, progress is going to come pretty easy, whereas over time, you need to get a little bit more refined, right? Let's say I'm trying to drill down to the center of the earth, and in this hypothetical, the further down you go, the better gains you get. Topsoil, that's pretty fucking easy to just shovel out. You can get pretty deep. Once you hit bedrock, once you get past those year and a half, depending on how hard you're lifting, maybe year newbie gains phase, ka-ching! Whoa, what the hell? What, I hit bedrock? And then maybe the amount of intensity that you're bringing to your training that's worked so far, it's just not going to cut it anymore. So you kind of have to constantly be adapting and making sure that your intensity is up to par. And when I talk about that, I get into, I love talking about the training, of course. I'll sit for like fucking 2 hours with somebody talking about different kinds of reps and styles of sets and like 2-second eccentrics and whatever. But that's kind of just, that's not the big picture. That's cool. Those are extra fucking parts of it, which are definitely important to discuss and try to optimize. But no matter what kind of fancy set you're intending to do, the quality of that set is going to be completely determined by how hard you can take it. And that's why it kind of pisses me off when I see people talk about how You shouldn't train that hard, and you got to leave reps in reserve. And training to failure, it's not. Look, no fucking chance. If I what's kind of a, I can't really think of a hypothetical, but I mean, you gotta understand, the harder that you go, the better that you'll do, man. I promise. In no way imaginable are you gonna go to the gym, push yourself harder than you ever have, and then sit down in your car and think, I never want to do that again. No, no fucking chance. If anything, you're gonna sit down and you're gonna say, oh, fuck, man, I don't know what I could do with that. Fuck, I gotta keep this up. It should be kind of a addicting kind of sensation to push yourself like that. And honestly, we're probably hardwired to do it. You know, as fancy as we, as fancy as we think we are, using cameras and cell phones and computers, you're still just an animal, with DNA and fucking instincts. Moving around, being active, does make you feel good. So what I'm getting at there is, if you can look back at your last month of training, or if you can look back at even your last week of training, ask yourself this openly and honestly. Don't just lie. Have you really been pushing it? Have you seriously been taking it as hard as you can on every set? And it doesn't have to be every set. I have scrappy sets sometimes. I try not to, but sometimes it just happens. Usually the first set of the workout, and then once I get in the groove, I'm on top of my game. But take an honest fucking look at your last couple of workouts, and give yourself a grade, 0 to 10. 0 being a schmuck and 10 being a baller. Where have your workouts fallen? If you're up in that 8, 9, 10 range, you've been pushing it on the regular to the point where people notice. That's good. That's where you want to be. Those are the front runners of gains. Whereas, I see it every time I go to the gym. Just fluff work, sets where you do the reps. So it's kind of an enigma, right? If you look at two guys, they could both do 225 for 10. So they both literally did the same amount of work. But if one guy actually hit failure at that 10 reps, and the other guy had 5 reps left, which he could have gotten if he pushed it, then that set was really kind of, you're going to maintain your muscle, sure, but I don't think you're going to push yourself into any future growth by lazy training like that. If you want to get somewhere you've never been, then you have to do something that you've never done. So each set, you should try to push yourself to a level of uncomfortability where you're actually hitting muscular fucking failure, not just mental uncomfortability, which is kind of nice, because eventually you do get tough enough where pushing the sets of failure isn't even it's not a problem. I try to make sure I'm extra hyped so I can usually do it and go as hard as I can. But with all these sets, I never go into it with the mentality like, okay, I think I'll maybe do 15 and then I'll call it there. Like, I can't think of a single set where before I did it, I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to call it at 10 reps. That'll be good. No, 95% of my sets, apart from warm-ups, and I do some fluff work. Like sometimes I do shoulders just to make sure they're moving and get a little bit of a pump. But that's a little different because I'm not trying to maximize my shoulder growth. That's where I just want to kind of move them around. You don't have to do a warm-up rotator cuff set. It's an absolute muscular failure, right? But your real working sets where your goal is to push it as hard as you can, I don't think limiting your reps in your mind before you even do the set is anything close to a good idea, right? The majority of my sets, I don't go into them, okay, I'm going to call it here. Okay, if I get this, then I'll rack it. That'll be enough. No, I want all of my sets to be, okay, I want to do as many reps as I physically can. And then I'm going to pick a weight that's heavy enough where I can kind of gauge where those reps are going to end up. With those heavy sets of dumbbells, I know that I was going to get like, maybe 12, 15-ish. I was kind of hoping for 15, but I want to go as far as I can each set. If you have a preconceived number in your mind before you even do a set like that, where you're like, okay, I'll be satisfied with this, then you're just setting yourself up to fucking re-rack it before you've really pushed it. I've gotten into sets of squats and curls where I get like 3 reps in, and then there's a little voice in the back of my head that says, okay, once you get 10, you're good. And I mean, I've done it before where I hit 10, I'm like, okay, that's enough, and I put them down. But I think I only stopped at 10 because I put that number in my own head, you know? So that's all I'm trying to say there. Of the things that I'm, passionately adamant about, pushing yourself hard in the gym it's got to be the number one fucking thing, you know? So I always end these little statements with, and the guys who are doing that, the guys who really are pushing themselves, they don't need to hear this from me. They know it. So you're in one of two parties, right? You're either the guy who's got to step up, or the guy who's just got to keep up his grind and watch his gains pay off like fucking dividends. So plan now is go home, chill, finish some final project reports, get some more food in me. Presumably, maybe I'll do an omelet. Maybe do a spinach omelet with some American cheese slices, fat-free. To be determined. But cardio in the morning, followed by back tomorrow. I'm sure I'll be pumped as a house then as well. So I'll see you then.